objective of this particular webinar is to help you or have a talk with you that what actually is cloud all about, what all different cloud architectures are there actually which are prominently being used in today's market, right? Because still real age of cloud is to come, right? Now if you see, lots of development is happening today in IT world, specifically when we talk about because dimensions of data is changing, because people have started bothering that what we have to do once Amazon says that I will not have more servers, right? Because Amazon may also run out of physical space, right? So in order to understand what's going on here, what actually companies are thinking, what is the vision of the company when it comes to managing their compute and their storage resources, webinar is actually oriented towards that particular part, right? So we are going to talk about various solutions here, various type of architectures which probably will help us to open eye and think that what solution actually can fit in our enterprise space, in our enterprise architecture that we have been working or we are planning to build on, right? So to be very fair and to be very concise, let's define what cloud is, right? I have heard introductory part of yours. Some people are already working on cloud, so I would like to have a small definition of what cloud is actually, what cloud refers to. So you have chat box. I feel you can type in the message there so that I get somewhere a point where actually I can understand you as well and then tune up my webinar accordingly. Any one of you? Am I audible? Okay. Ayush. Yeah, so you are new to cloud. Fine.
Yes, I can listen. I'm able to hear.
Yeah, so Ayush is already working on cloud, right?
Yeah, I've worked on one project. My last project was on the cloud. So we were using Mule, the service bus connected. It's more SOA based project actually. So.
Fine. Okay, so I'm getting few quick answers from here. Shilpa is saying cloud is something which we don't own or control but avail the services. Arun is saying highly scalable and elastic in nature, a self-service portal. Good. And Arun is again saying that which can expand and control on need basis, right? So quite good. Like we are getting good mature definitions, right? Now let me ask you one more question. What was before cloud? Arun, Shilpa, Philip. What was before cloud? Rishi. Okay, Shilpa is saying on-premise hardware.
So before cloud was just servers which are basically residing on our own network.
Okay.
Right. I mean, basically now what you are getting is infrastructure as a service.
You want to say that before cloud it was a data center, right?
Yeah, so basically company-owned data centers, and so now we are getting infrastructure as a service. So basically, the cost of infrastructure and management of that infrastructure is considerably less.
Okay. Okay, great. Fine. So what we will do, we'll just start up, and now since I got good answer, I understood the maturity of the audience, right? You people are already aware about certain terminologies which are used in cloud. Right? So let me go a bit deeper here, and probably we will drill more deeply when it comes to what actually is required for cloud. Now, cloud term actually originated as a metaphor from internet, which actually means that it's a network of networks which provides remote access to some set of decentralized IT resources. Right? I'm able to hear some background noise. If you mute yourself, Ayush. Okay, thanks. Right, so I was talking about cloud actually originated as a metaphor from internet, which was essentially categorized as network of networks, which provides remote access to some set of decentralized IT resources. Right? Now, prior to cloud, computing actually was becoming in its own formalized IT industry segment. The symbol of cloud which we see today was commonly used to represent the internet, right, in a variety of specifications which actually came up when this www actually was coined. Right? So there are few things that is essential before you start talking about cloud computing and talking about providers who are there of cloud, and also how actually you can set up your cloud. And let's start with that particular part first. So what we are going to do is we are going to talk about journey to cloud, like what are the different business drivers that may be, essential for you, key drivers that you need to identify, which actually is going to make cloud more prominent, right? And define what cloud computing is. And third important part is infrastructure which is required for cloud, and how actually you can have transition from a data center, classic data center, to cloud, right? So this is what is first part that we will be discussing. And second part is characteristics of cloud. So in case if I want to come up with my own private cloud, what are the essential key elements that actually I need to have as an ingredient, right, to satisfy that yes, my cloud can be formalized. Tomorrow I can have transition from private cloud to public cloud, even where I start providing my cloud services. I start providing my cloud to normal public, right? Then we'll talk about what all service models are there of cloud and what are the deployment models, right? So what is basic difference between service model and deployment model, that we will see, right? Then economics of cloud, which is very important, like shall we go with cloud? Are we ready to, move to cloud, right? And doing a bit of trade-off analysis and then deciding, right, that what benefit we will get when we move to cloud, right? And what are the existing challenges of cloud? Not only from, consumers' perspective, but also from providers' perspective, right? This will help you when you go and build your own, cloud. This will help you to probably eliminate those challenges, or at least put your effort to eliminate those challenges so that your consumers can have confidence on your cloud. And as a provider, you also, are able to provide services to the client or to the consumers, right, the way cloud model need to. Right? And then we will discuss about different providers which are there of cloud, and probably I will also try to give you a brief about how actually OpenStack can be managed or can be used, right? So lots of contents actually can be spoken of when it comes to cloud. I just thought of keeping it simple because we have invited people who are also new to cloud, right? But yes, if you have any question at any point of time, you can go ahead and you can ask, right? Fine. So what are the business drivers for cloud computing? Globalization, aging data centers, application explosion, storage growth, increase in cost of ownership, acquisitions, right? So these are 6 important business drivers for cloud computing, right? And I know, like, many companies plan to have their own data center, but how many upgrades? Because, dimension of not only data, but dimension of your functionality, services, everything is changing, right? So how well you can keep your data center tuned according to the need of existing business? Because overall objective of IT is to ensure that overall objective of enterprise is to ensure that whatever growth is happening in terms of hardware, in terms of existing services, you are able to provide, you are able to have all those services in your data center, right? So how many times you will go and tune up your data center, right? How many times you will go and replace components there, right? So this becomes a challenge. So here, one of the solutions can be cloud, where you are not, you are not someone who is going to build those services and then use those services. You are someone who is having capability of going and now selecting, okay, what I should use for my storage when my storage is growing. If my storage need is just backup and archive, why I should go with costly, storage? If my need is fast read and write access, right, I may select a different storage, right? So when we move to cloud, cloud offers variety of ways in which actually you can manage your storage depending on the type of data store that you want to maintain, right? Now, for example, you want to have NoSQL, you want to have big data like Hadoop, right? You want to use some other storage. You want to use storage only for archiving, right? You want to have a storage where actually you are able to stream videos, right? So cloud, when it comes, you'll have all these services placed in front of you. You can just go and pick, choose, without taking responsibility of first building the infrastructure, then setting up the application layer, and then probably using it, right? Fine. So this actually becomes very important. Then comes cost of ownership. Any enterprise will have a budget, right? And probably when we talk about buying out something, we need to take, lots of decisions. So when we talk about application enterprise or application architecting, and when we take decisions, actually we use BBB, right? Buy, borrow, and what? Buy, borrow, BBB, build, right? Either you buy out the service, or you build the service, or you borrow the service, right? So cloud computing comes with concept of multi-tenancy, right? Where you have the same service which can be probably rented out, right, to n number of seekers at the same time, which decreases cost of ownership, right? Then you have acquisitions, which is going to probably tremendously grow your data and processing need. Kind of flexibility that you need, probably you may not get from your own, data center or from your enterprise architecture which you have existing today. Your business may grow and your business may come down, right? When your business comes down, since you have already acquired everything and it's sitting in your data center, right, it will be a cost that you will incur. So why can't we have a solution where when I need, I use those resources, when I don't need, I don't use them, and I am only charged for what I use, right? Whether it is CPU, whether it is CPU power, or it is, storage, whether it is compute, it is processing, it is storage, it is using a particular service, right? My company may need, a sophisticated application server, but my company may not have budget for buying it out, buying the licenses, right? In cloud model, I may get the same product, same features, probably at lower cost because that particular product is sitting on cloud where multi-tenancy is applicable. It means the same deployment, or you say same application server instance, probably may keep my application as well as others' application, which will be a shared cost, and cost will tremendously go low, right? So because of these drivers, cloud computing was felt as a need of the hour, right? So in order to get certain benefits, you can actually plan of moving from your, classic data center model to cloud, right? Yes, you need to have a phased, you need to have a planned transition from your CDC to cloud, right? In short, when we talk about cloud, benefits that you get is of reduced investment and, proportional costs. It provides you better scalability. It's not only upscaling but also downscaling, right? But once you have bought a server, probably downscaling, even if you are doing, right, it's incurring some cost. Increased availability and reliability, right? So these are few features, these are few benefits which actually can make cloud one of the options for you when actually your dimensions are changing, when you need more services, when you need more boxes, when you need more CPU power for computations, right? So this is what drives us towards cloud, right? Now, many definitions have come up of cloud, right? So I tried finding out the best definition which I feel like, elaborating to you, because its definition actually includes everything related to cloud components, right? So what is cloud? It's a convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources, right? Which can be servers, which can be storage, which can be network applications, which can be services, right? And best part is it can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service providers interaction, right? You don't need to always go to the service provider for that. Service providers will provide you a decent dashboard. You can go re-engineer your requirement and re-engineer your resource consumption as well on the cloud, right? So it's typically a model of shared pool of resources, right? The sharing of resources probably is one of the best way of reducing the cost. We talked about today carpooling, right? We talk about carpooling because we know that cost is going to decrease on each of the user, right? Instead of having our own car to drive to the same place, like 4 people can combine together and they can, go to the place, right? So this is what is one definition which I liked regarding cloud, right? Fine. Now let's move up till the place where I'll not feel that, you will have any doubts. Now, this particular session or, this webinar series that we have planned is basically to not only enable you to use an existing cloud provider, but also to enable you to be a cloud provider, right? That is what is basic objective of this particular webinar series, right? What are essential characteristics of cloud? It's simple. On-demand self-service, right? And when demand grows, you need more computing, you need more bandwidth, you need, more servers for load balancing, right? You told cloud that, see, I will start up with 3 servers, but if load increases, I want you to scale it up by factor of 1. So you can have some watch set. Some watch will be there which will always keep on monitoring what is the current state. As soon as your matrix that you have defined is reached, automatically one new server will be added to your architecture. You have also set watch that in what case, downscaling should be done, right? So as soon as matrix comes to that particular stage, one server which seems to be extra is removed and you are billed only for 2 or 3, whatever is the optimum number which you have decided, right? So on-demand self-service is something which is one of the key features of cloud. Then comes broad network access. Now, I'll keep it simple here because, if you go to Amazon, if you go to even, OpenStack distros, or you go to, for that matter, Azure also, right? They provide you access using HTTP protocol. It means whether it is infrastructure need or whether it is platform need or it is service need, everything is made accessible to you through HTTP protocol, right? So it means its access is simplified, right? This is what is another essential characteristics, right? Resource pooling, no doubt about it. Probably virtualization is what is used here, right? Hypervisor is one of the layers which you have to build either using VMware or by using any other virtualization mechanism in order to ensure that you have pool of resources, right? So resource pooling is also one of the important characteristics of cloud. Rapid elasticity. Rapid elasticity means growing to meet the need and decreasing in order to save your resource or save your cost is also one of the essential characteristics. If I say that a particular infrastructure which I am terming as cloud does not have elasticity, it is not cloud. It does not fit under term called cloud, right? Metered service, or you say metered service. As a cloud provider, you should be capable of identifying metrics so that you can bill your customer, right? So if you see lots of watch, again, when I say watch, you can take it as a monitor also. Lots of monitors are implemented internally in order to keep track of your usage. So you have two benefits. One is, as a cloud user, you will be able to restrict that. See, if cost goes beyond this, you don't go and scale up. I am ready to bear the downsize of it because my budget is that, right? It's clear. So you can identify the top investment that probably you want to make on IT, infrastructure, platform, as well as service. And you can set that particular matrix. As soon as you will reach that particular stage, you will be informed, right? So if you are planning to set up your own private cloud, ensure that your private cloud meets all these needs, or all these characteristics are part of it, right? Is it clear? So when we talk about resource pooling, it actually leads to multi-tenancy, which we will see. When we spoke about measured service, basically it is used to define metering service, right? Where you have your cloud provider, or you as a cloud provider have set a meter, right? Which actually interacts with each and every service and finds out what is the usage level, right? So the important characteristics that actually you have, right? Fine. Now let's move further. Till now, what we discussed was, we tried defining cloud. We tried understanding what are the business drivers for cloud. We tried understanding what are the important characteristics of a cloud. These characteristics of cloud must be part of your own cloud as well, because today you are private, probably tomorrow you will go public, right? You are setting up your own cloud. So what consumers will look for? Because Amazon is already there and people have already done POCs on Amazon, right? So when they will try to move from Amazon to you, if you are targeting to be a cloud provider, you need to at least provide those features which are part of Amazon, right? Then only you will be qualified, or you can classify yourself or qualify yourself as a cloud provider. Fine? Rishi, is that fine? I feel that we can define cloud now, right? And we can specify what all are the important characteristics of cloud. Shilpa?
Yes.
Right? Good. Now let's move further. Matthew? Okay.
I'm on the call.
Now comes to the fine. Okay. Okay.
I mean, even.
Yeah, Rishi.
Yeah, even like people say that Salesforce is also a cloud, right?
Yeah, I'll come to that. Then you will be able to understand what is SaaS. Okay.
Yeah.
What is Salesforce, right? Where actually it fits. Fine. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'll expect you not to think cloud as a software stack, right? Please don't think that. If you are thinking that, probably you are just at 10% or 15% of cloud understanding, right? So once we reach to the right level where you see where SaaS sits with that, right? Now let's plan. We all be for some time people who are going to deliver cloud, right? We are going to build our own cloud, right? What is needed? What kind of team composition is there? Or what knowledge I need to have in order to go and set up my own cloud, right? What you need to do here is, you need to first understand your existing infrastructure, right? What is your existing infrastructure as of now, right? How many, boxes you have? What is capacity, storage capacity of your box, right? How actually your boxes are connected to each other, right? So as I told you, CPU strength, or you say compute power, or you say storage, or you say network, all these are going to be pooled and they are going to be shared, right? So that multi-tenancy can be achieved. That's what is primary objective, right? So you can say understand your existing infrastructure. Once you have proper understanding about your existing infrastructure, you have to go and virtualize your infrastructure, right? Now this virtualization is something which does resource pooling and rapid elasticity, right? Now how to virtualize? There you will be using hypervisors, right? You'll be using probably, you say, VMware, one of the ways of virtualizing, right? Apart from that, there are many open source tools available, right? For example, Oracle itself has a way of, building virtual machines over a number of resources, right? And third step is deploy service management tool to deliver cloud services. And what are the cloud services? They are defined by their characteristics, right? Which we have seen in previous slide, right? So it's a three-step task. Please go and understand your infrastructure. Identify virtualization components which are there in your infrastructure. Select the appropriate tool in order to build, in order to virtualize. And then identify and deploy certain management tools which can deliver cloud services, right? Fine. Now, who will be able to do this? What expertise you need here? You need to understand what virtualization is, how virtualization is done. You need to understand, okay, fine, I'll be able to have virtual machines where each and every machine probably will span multiple machines and they will have their own, classified storage, classified compute and, network resources as well, right? Then you will plan, okay, how I will go and do resource pooling. What factors I need to consider when I go and do resource pooling? Because I'm doing resource pooling with an feature that I need to deliver, and that is rapid elasticity, right? How many multi-tenancy I can have, right? And then finally you will deploy some service management tools, right? So that you can serve your client or serve your clients through a particular dashboard, right? So who manages compute, who manages storage, who provides capability of taking request from the client in form of HTTP request or REST request, right? So you will have n number of components who will provide security, right? You'll have n number of components put together, and these components are actually called as management tools. Now, for example, Nova, Keystone, right? So there are various components which are there in open source domain from where you can pick and choose and then decide who is going to provide, cloud services in what way, right? Then you do what? Automate service provisioning to enable on-demand self-service of computing resources over the network, right? And how you will automate? You will be able to automate anything only on basis of some condition, right? You will be able to set up some automated actions that you want to happen inside your infrastructure only on basis of some conditions, right? So your tool should be capable of identifying those metrics, setting up those metrics, and then reacting, right, accordingly, either to grow or to shrink, right? And don't forget, you have to facilitate it with measured service or metered service, right? So if now I ask you that, are you a bit aware in terms of basic understanding of how to build cloud? You are right. First, what you will do? You will identify your existing infrastructure. Then what you will do? You will virtualize it. And then what you will do? You will put required management tools in order to deliver your services, right? These are the three steps that you will be taking in order to, building up or setting up your own cloud. And that's what your Amazon might have done. That's what
Windows Azure might have done, right? Now here, since objective of this course you say, or webinars you say, is to ensure that you understand cloud using Amazon and then try to build your own cloud with a mix of services, where I will be introducing you with OpenStack, right? That's what will be the objective. So let's take up the first step, right? Understand existing infrastructure, classic data center, right? Now, a classic data center is a facility that provides IT resources to process data, as simple as that, right? And what are the core elements of classic data center? It's compute, it's storage, it's network, it's applications, it's RDBMS, it's big data platforms, right? And what you are going to provide as multi-tenancy service on your cloud, it is compute, it is storage, it is application, it is DBMS, it is big data, it is NoSQL, right? It is network, right? So as of now, you have classic data centers. You understood what actually is compute capability in my CDC, what actually is storage capability, network capability, and application capability, right? And you make a note of it, right? Because you are going to virtualize it now, right? And that's what you do. After virtualizing, you will go and you will, deploy service management tool, right? Which helps you to deliver the services, which helps you to automate and optimize the resource usability, which helps you to enable metering of resource usage, which helps you to manage physical and virtual resources, right? If I want to add new server, I should be able to add in matter of clicks, right? If I'm cloud provider, I will not expect my consumers to go and write code in Python in order to, add a server, or in order to increase the compute and storage capability, right? Fine. So these are the 3 steps which actually you will take in order to, come up with your own cloud, right? So if we start together journey to cloud, we will be having classic data center, we'll move to virtualized data center, we'll move to cloud, right? And then we will plan how actually application management will be done on cloud, how orchestration will be done on cloud, what infrastructure will be used, how to apply security and data protection on cloud, right? So this is what is classified activities that you will be doing when you are setting it up, right? So if you see components of virtualized data center, now this is what is data center, which contains storage, compute, network, and now you have here virtualized data center, which hides the actual hardware, right? You have virtualized infrastructure, which is combined power of n number of boxes which are there, combined CPU, combined network, combined disk storage capability, and from these virtualized data center you are providing capability by adding cloud services, so that you can spawn, you can create, you can fork n number of servers which can be used by your clients, right? So this is how actually you will move from one phase to other phase in order to finally reach and start using cloud, right? Is that clear? So what we covered till now, I covered 2 important aspects. We defined cloud, right? And then we moved and we briefly discussed that how actually we will come up with a cloud setup itself, where we spoke about 3 important parts. One is CDC, identify your infrastructure, classic data center which you have in your organization. Second, get the right virtualization tools, go with virtualization. Third, take up management tools, deploy it. Fourth, start serving the clients, right? Start distributing, start renting it out to multiple consumers, right? Any confusion till now? Because I'm not able to see any message. Madhur, Supraja, any questions? You can type it on the, okay, good. Right. Fine. So now let's go and talk about cloud computing is based on what set of technologies, right? What actually are the methodologies which actually was used to define or to come up with cloud? First one is grid computing. right? Second is utility computing. Then you have virtualization, and then you have SOA. That is service-oriented architecture, right? So you can say foundation of cloud has come from these 4 different type of computing technologies. Grid actually tells you about how to have parallel execution in order to complete a complex task, right? So what you are doing here, you are using computation power of your entire infrastructure in order to complete a complex task, right? So grid computing applies resources of numerous or number of computers to actually work on a single complex task at the same time, right? That's what is grid computing. Utility computing. What you do here, you provide a metered service, right? Where each service incurs cost. That cost can maybe factored in different way. You may have license cost, or you may have only usage cost, or you may have combination of both, depending on the service that you are borrowing, or you are renting out, or you are becoming tenant to on the cloud, right? So utility computing has been there since long, right? Then comes virtualization. VMware came up with this virtualization concept in reality, and later VMware was bought by EMC, and they are working with combination of storage on virtualization, right, which is really doing lots of magic in terms of computing world today, right? It has changed the way data lakes are being managed and maintained, right? So virtualization is something which tells you how to improve utilization of resources, how I can have 2 different servers set up using the same hardware, right? That is what is virtualization. It increases or it optimizes the resource usage, right? Then comes services, which are application units, right? Now applications that you write can be can serve users in different ways. One of the way is to treat each and every service in isolation, applying SOA principles on it, which is service-oriented architecture, right? So when we talk about applications which will be used by consumers, probably their architectural concept of SOA can be used when you are distributing your applications as service to the consumers, right? So that is what is SOA. So your cloud computing is actually based on these 4 fundamental or foundation technologies. Grid computing tells us how to utilize processing capability of n number of computers to complete a single task. Utility computing tells us how actually you can have a metered service. Virtualization tells us how to optimize usage of bare hardware or metal hardware, right? SOA tells us principles of building, consuming services, right? Where you have various steps like identify the service, service identification, service specification, service realization, service monitoring, right? Service troubleshooting. So there are various, ideologies which are there in terms of SOA also. Then you have maturity models and all, which we will come up when we discuss things further, right? So these are the foundation technologies on which actually your cloud computing is based, right? So again, I'll mark, don't forget grid computing, utility computing, virtualization, and service-oriented architecture, right? Now, next, benefits of cloud. When I asked my first question, people replied with benefit of cloud, right? Reduce IT cost, because now your upfront capex will not be required. You need not buy out hardware and the required licenses in order to, have your services. Business agility support. Want to add more resources quickly? You can add. You don't need a particular resource? Remove it. Flexible scaling. That is scaling up and scaling down based on your current demand. High availability. All your data or all your processing will be taken care by your cloud provider now, right? So it ensures that application availability at varying, level depending on the policy and the priority of the service availability that you set, right? Then you have less energy consumption, enables organization to reduce their power consumption and space usage. So you can say you are going green if you are moving to cloud, right? So these are the benefits which actually may encourage, enterprises to move to cloud, right? Fine. Now, I feel, Arun, here your thing will get clear. Now, it's not necessary, that whatever cloud providers are there, they will provide you all these service models, right? Now, for example, you have three different layers. I can add one fourth, but I'm not adding it as of now. You have infrastructure as service, you have platform as service, and you have software as service, right? Now, when we talk about infrastructure as service, their responsibility is to just provide infrastructure. You might have heard about Rackspace. Have you heard? Very innovative company, Yes. So they provide support at infrastructure as service. They are not at software as service, right? And to a certain extent, they are not there at PaaS also. So you can have three different service models. Now, as I told you, think from perspective of you designing a cloud, right? I'm not asking you to think from perspective of using a cloud, right? Because when I talk about using a cloud, you need to see what all infrastructure as service is being provided by Amazon, what all infrastructure as service is being provided by, Rackspace, right? So infrastructure as service can be, computing resources like network, processing, storage, right? And it's on demand, right? Then you have platform as service. Now, for example, I want to have my platform which should be set up on the cloud. Like, for example, Google App Engine, right? You have Salesforce, right? Then you have WebLogic, you have WebSphere, right? You even have Mule, right? I feel Ayush must be working on Mule, right? So you can have Mule also here. You can have Camel, right? Whoever provides platform to host your personalized services, right? So consumers will get an open platform solution stack where they can deploy their applications developed in any language, right? But again, I told you, it depends on the cloud provider, right? So your Amazon, if you want to have applications written in JE to be deployed, Amazon will provide you an application server for that, right? And that too, there are different models, right? One is Amazon itself provides that particular application server. Second is someone has, have partnered with Amazon to sell their application server through Amazon Web Services, right? So huge numbers are there. So if you see Windows, Azure, Google App Engine, Salesforce, right? All these under PaaS, that is platform as service. Then comes software as service. Consumers can run applications in cloud, can access apps through various clients, including browsers, mobile device, etc. Right? So probably this is what is the service layer which will be implemented using SOA, right? And that is what will be consumed by the clients. For example, email service, right? It's a software as service, right? Now Amazon may provide you different email service. Windows Azure may provide you different email service, right? You have various accounting software also which are present on cloud. You have various video softwares also which are present on cloud, right? So these are software as services which are specific to a particular business use case, let me say, or utility case, right? So these three models are there, right? So when you want to decide, shall I go with Amazon Web Service, or I should go with Windows Azure, I should go with some distro of OpenStack, or I should have my own, right? That depends on which provider satisfies your need, right? And for that you need to know who provides what. Okay, fine. Now next is, what are the deployment models? So probably everywhere you will find 4 deployment models. One is private, that is outsource or own. Second is lease or buy. Third, separate or virtual data center, VDC. They are your private clouds. Then you have community cloud, right? Private cloud for set of stakeholders, right? So if I am an enterprise and I have certain stakeholders in terms of my suppliers, my vendors, right? All of us can together come up with community cloud, right? Again, shared cost. Then you have public cloud, mega scale infrastructure, which is available for all, like Amazon. Hybrid cloud. I don't want to give everything to public cloud. Why? Because I still doubt. I have my own concerns when it comes to security. So what I'll do, I will identify my services and I will identify what service should be there on my cloud and what service and data I can keep on public cloud to get certain benefits, right? So in that case, you will go with hybrid cloud, right? Now it depends what role you are going to play when it comes to cloud computing. Are you an architect? Are you going to play a role of architect, or as an administrator, or a developer who is going to develop for cloud, right? So depending on what role you are going to play, your subject matter or concerned subject area will differ, right? Briefly, this particular course actually covers all three different areas in brief to make you, up in stage 1 and stage 2 level of managing all this, right? This is what is cloud deployment model, right? Any confusion? So now we are clear with what is cloud. We are clear with business, drivers of cloud. We are clear with characteristics of cloud. We are clear with how actually we will have transition from classic data center to cloud. We are clear with what all are the service models in cloud. We spoke about infrastructure as service, platform as service, and software as service. And now we are clear with what all are the possible architectures which are deployment models of cloud, right? Now, as an administrator, I need to know how I will go and implement hybrid cloud, right? Where there should be communication between my cloud services, private cloud services, and public services, right? So these are some of the administrative tasks which will differ in Azure. It will be done in different way, right? In Amazon, it will be done in different way, and in OpenStack, it will be a probably different component itself which will help you to do that, right? So these are the cloud deployment model. Is that clear? Shilpa, Supraja, Matthew, I'm sure Ayush is clear with this. Madhur, okay, great, thanks. Now comes decision making, right? Economics of cloud. So it depends on you, right? How actually you are identifying the actual need, whether that organization or enterprise need to have transition to cloud or not. And if they need to have, what impact will be there on that, right? So cloud has changed the IT economics, that's true. Cloud enables you to move from CapEx to OpEx model, that is, a capital expense to operational expense, which is very much, need of the day-to-day in this challenging business world where lots of competitions are there, right? Cloud provides cost cutting or cost saving in 3 different areas. Infrastructure cost, this is huge saving that you make here. Management cost, power and energy cost, right? So these are the 3 typical areas where actually you make lots of saving, right? There was a research which was done, between owned cloud and public cloud, right? And a report says that, you'll end up saving lots of dollars when it comes to, total cost of ownership and, cost of component, right? So here cost components are too many. Here you have only few cost components. One is instance fee and usage, and second is data transfer. You need not manage server hardware, network hardware, right? You need not spend on hardware maintenance. You need not pay electricity bills, right? You need not, bother about operating system clustering management and taking benefits, maximizing benefit from operating system, right? All these costs actually will help you to reduce total cost of ownership and, spend that you make. right? Is that clear? So you end up saving a lot, right? You can see the amount comparison also here. Fine. We are professionals, so we are here to see in what way we can contribute and participate in cloud, right? I say this is most important, slide today, because it tells you how you will go and mitigate the challenges of which actually you will face whenever you will go and try to sell your cloud, right? So there are challenges from both perspectives. One is consumer perspective. Consumer is bothered about security breach, right? Regulations. Now, can anyone tell how actually you will mitigate this? Security and regulation, concerns of the consumer. Difficult to manage, right? You will talk about governance, right? Then you have network latency, supportability, interoperability, right? So these are some of the challenges which actually can come up from consumer's perspective. About provider's perspective, provider is bothered about what? Service warranty, service cost, right? Huge number of softwares to manage on cloud, no standard cloud access interface so far, right? It is using HTTP, but you don't have a standard, cloud access interface. HTTP is web interface, web access interface, right? So these are some of the challenges which are being worked out, right? There are various components which are already there in beta, which are going to take care of this, right? So be ready with the challenges that you will also face. Is that clear? Okay. Okay. I'm audible, right? Now, sometimes what happens, voice goes off. So I just wanted to ensure that I ask you something so that, okay, thanks, Supraja. Now, cloud providers. Huge variety of cloud providers are coming up day to day. And I'll show you the number of distros which are there of, of your OpenStack. Amazon Web Services. One of the, leaders, or you can say that entire 60 to 70%, I'm very, conservative in figures. So 60 to 70% of market is of Amazon, right? Very reliable, simplified, right? I personally feel one of the best cloud services that I have ever used, right? Now it comes up with some services like you have storage and CDN, right? S3. Now you see different type of storage which is provided to you by Amazon. S3, scalable storage in the cloud. EBS, network attached, CloudFront, global content delivery network. Glacier, only for archive storage in the cloud. So it comes cheap. Storage gateway, import export. All these are there that helps you to manage your, storage and CDNs. Now this course will tell you when to go for S3, how to configure S3, how to, when actually you will go with EBS, how you will use EBS with your server, right? All that is part of this. Then you see number of databases that you have. DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, RDS, that is Managed Relational Database, Redshift, right? So if you want to have Oracle, you want to have MySQL, you will go with RDS, which is provided to you by Amazon Web Service. Right? You can say it's a proxy that helps you to work in various databases where you have third-party providers as well. Then compute and networking, EC2, VPC, virtual, secure network, load balancing service, workspace managers, auto scaling capabilities, direct connect, right? Which makes it things faster. Now, for example, you want your USB, which is there, right? You have USB drives, right, in computers, right? Now, what I want to copy data from external drive to my cloud. How to do that? You will be using direct connect for that, right? So there are various use cases. Now, for example, you want to upload data to storage of cloud from an external device that you have at your premises. How to do that? You will be using direct connect there. Arun, is that clear? Okay. And then you have route S3, scalable domain name service, right? For example, when we go and when we build, instances. Now, I'll show you that just in a matter of 2 minutes. Then you have deployment management, where you have cloud formation. You have CloudWatch. Now, this CloudWatch is very important for metering. You can set your auto scaling by using CloudWatch. Elastic Beanstalk. You want to deploy J2EE application, you want to deploy .NET application, you can go and use this, right? You want to define your own security along with authentication and authorization, you can use IAM. You want to have a watch over cloud, you can use CloudTrail, right? You want to have DevOps management of your cloud resources in terms of continuous integration and development and builds, you can go and use OpsWorks, right? Then you have Cloud HSM, which is hardware-based key storage for compliances, right? Then you have certain services for analytics, certain services which are cross-service domain. Then you have, some app services which you can go and select from here, which even include, message queue, email service, right? So these all are provided to you by Amazon. So do a study and identify that whether Amazon fits or not, right? Now let me show you a few of them here on my Amazon before we move to Azure, right? Now if you see EC2, I want to create compute, right? Console home RDS. Let me show you RDS here, or let me create an instance and show you, which is a very simple task, Now this can be actually, as of now in my instance, I have 4 running instances, right? So if I want to create instance, I have concept of images, right? I'm just trying to tell you in brief, all this is in detail coverage, right? We will even tell you how to create your own AMI. So when I go and click on AMI, you see what you get. I will write here, you say, WebSphere. Right, so no AMI is found. I can go to marketplace where I will get lots of AMIs there, right? Now this is actually owned by me. I'll go for public images and you will see here. These are the public images which are available, right? And all these are EMIs. I mean to say they are pre-configured. I need to just go and create my instance using these EMIs, right? Fine. So this is how actually you will be using, like you will create instances using, instances here. You can go and launch instances. You can decide what will be the capacity of the instance, what type of box you want. Now, if you see these are the community AMIs, images again, right? So if I go to AWS Marketplace and there if I search, now for example, I'm searching here, you say WebSphere application server. Now this is platform as service, and you see cost is given here. What is the cost, right? So you do your study and then identify that how actually you can go and build it, right? Is that clear? Am I audible now? Suprita, now am I okay, fine. I was talking about there are already pre-built AMIs, right? Now assume that my need is there. I have thousands of customers or thousands of partners, and I want each partner to have a machine configured, deployed with my software. What I can do? I can build my own AMI and I can upload it here, right? And customers can go and they can select that AMI from here. So this is what is benefit that you get with this AMI, right? So you can choose AMI, see the cost, do your study, and then decide. You get operating systems, right? You have various business softwares here. You have various developer tools, right? So all these matter. And best part is you need not stress on going and configuring it, installation. All that is taken care. Is that clear? Right? Now same is RDS. I'll just go to RDS, which helps you to configure database of your choice, and you will see what all AMIs are already there when we talk about RDS also, right? It is relational database service. So I want to have a relational database service. I can go and I can configure it here, right? It just gives me template driven HTTP based configuration of them. One thing you need to understand that you need to if you want to get ways in order to work with Amazon. One is we are using HTTP, right? We are using console. Other approaches you can have command line as well, right? You can use that command line in order to actually do the same task which we are doing here, and that's what is there in our course, right? Fine. You can purchase reserved DB instances. I'll not purchase. I can start now. You see product description, select DB instance class, right? You can go and you can actually configure. Anyways, this is in detail covered for you when we start with the training, right? So this is how actually Amazon gives you service. If you want to go with a particular database like DynamoDB, which is distributed to you by Amazon itself, and I feel Ayush, we all know that DynamoDB is what? It's a NoSQL, right? Cassandra is something which has taken architectural element from DynamoDB, right? Then networking, you can set up your own virtual private cloud here. Then you have direct connect, which helps you to connect to a dedicated network, right? So you have mobile services, right? So you have huge number of services which are available in matter of clicks, right? Fine. So let's move. So this was about one provider that I spoke about. Similarly, you have multiple providers who are there today, right? You have Windows Azure also. We cannot ignore. Now, Windows Azure comes with a different architecture, different set of services, right? And you have last one, which I told you, OpenStack, right? Now, OpenStack provides you capability of actually you can say OpenStack is collection of n number of small open source components, right? Now, for example, for hypervisor layer or for virtualization, you have a different product. For dashboard, you have Horizon. For compute, you have Nova. In case of Amazon, for compute, it was what? It was EC2, right? You see here, compute was EC2, right? When I go here to my Amazon, I have here EC2, right? Which is compute. In case of OpenStack, you have open source, which actually is what? It is Nova, right? So for each and every activity, if you see, similar to Amazon, similar to your Azure, OpenStack also provides you combination of open sources, which helps you to get compute. Image service, you have Glance. For object store, you have Swift, picking up like fire. Then for networking, you have Neutron. For volume service, you have Cinder. For orchestration, you have Heat. And for, telemetry, you have Cellumeter, right? And for identity management, you have Keystone, right? So if I want to be, someone who can operate on OpenStack flavors which are provided by different distros or different distributors, I need to be aware about OpenStack specifications, right? And believe me, OpenStack is very powerful because it was built in collaboration of NASA and Rackspace, right? Because they wanted to have huge storage. There is a story behind it, which I will start once we will go through it, right? So installation and working with OpenStack also is not very difficult. What you can do, you can take up a Ubuntu box that we will also take. I have already installed because installation takes, some time. So what actually is important here is to just follow the steps which are provided by that particular distro, right? Now, for example, if I show you, these are the labs. Lab 1 is installing OpenStack. It's very simple. Entire environment will be provided by us. Yeah, pivotal, right, right, Ayush, created by EMC. And yeah, true. So here, this is what is our box. And what we are doing, we are going and we are doing installation of Git, because we download some distributions from GitHub, right? So once you have downloaded and installed it, your next step is to go and install, DevStack, right? Unfortunately, for different operating systems, you will have different, right? For different operating systems, you will have different way of doing the installation, right? So you see, I have started installation of DevStack here. I will enter password. Now these passwords it will ask multiple times because it has to set up many internal components, right? It will set up a database as well, right? So I'm just typing some password here just to show you password. So don't worry about installation. I'll make you install not only this but also Cloud Foundry and Cloud Stack also, so that you can understand how infrastructure is managed by using a hypervisor and then submitting it to build management tools on top of this, right? So once you download, you can install. Once you will install, it will create a folder called as DevStack. You have to just go and configure your features that you expect from the cloud, from your own cloud now, right? Where I'm using one of the open source distributions called as DevStack, right? You can go and configure it the way you want to manage it, components that you want, right? So if you see, it is installing certain elements. Each and every element is an area of study that we will discuss in length when we start up with the, other part of the webinars. Let us start. So, how many of you know Python? You'll be very happy the minute I will share something with you. How many of you are working on Python? Any one of you working on Python? There is huge demand of Python developers as of now. Okay, entire OpenStack, is written in Python, right? 70% is Python. So if you know Python, you can contribute really good in OpenStack development, right? So if you see now, Cinder is getting installed. Cinder is the security provider which helps you to create AMIs, right? It takes pretty long time, but what I have done, I have already downloaded, so it's taking. If you see, Nova is getting installed, and I told you what is Nova. Yes, Prada. Contribute in software as service. But when you know Python, actually all these Horizon, Nova, all these components, right, which provide compute, storage capabilities are written in Python, right? So you can be low-level developer. Right. is doing installation of MySQL also, right? This step is like running and configuring OpenStack. What is the stack? Right? How to download it? How to check what should be the file you have to configure, properties you have to configure, right? And then finally we will move to the stack. So what I have done all this. I'm just running the stack. Right? I'm starting the stack service. It gives me the URL, right? Let it start once, and then I'll show you. It gives me this URL. Wait, few more services. We are talking about entire stack, whatever it was we have seen, whether it is Nova or this Keystone, right? URL, just 2-3 more minutes, and we are set up so that I can at least show you the login page. From there, everything will be in your control. Let's go here, select this. Now we are having habit of copying Control C, right? In VMware, it will not work in this particular case. It will terminate the process because you are running in an editor, right? Still, it is not started, but I am just going and I am trying out with this. Now, if you see, it is saying version ID, tenants, setting up OS identity. No, I feel I have shared it. Supraja, you have to go and see. I've shared it. Ayush, are you able to see? Shilpa? Arun? Yes, so Shilpa is able to see Supraja. Now it is creating OpenStack service, and then you have endpoint list. Right? It will take some time in order to provision and make your cloud ready, right? So in this course, actually we start with virtualization and then go to setting up our own cloud, understanding how actually compute, storage, right, AMI is managed. Right. So password is password. Okay, so we are image service is also set up, image service glance. So, right, it is setting up image services, identity services. And now Cinder. Cinder is the security manager, right? He provides you capability of helping you in authentication and authorization, which you will see. Okay, so a few more minutes, guys. I feel it's dashboard. Just to have and this is trying to up on that OpenStack, which is not the real scenario, and it's not on virtualized layer, right? So later you'll come to know how if you have 4 boxes, you will be doing virtualization and then setting up cloud on top of it by using Cloud Stack. Okay. So endpoint is get here. Now comes Horizon, right? Horizon is the dashboard. So you have seen a very decent dashboard for your Amazon, right? You can use Horizon for that purpose. And unfortunately, it terminated. Right? So once it is done, you will be able to see probably memory block is there. So because it's a very small image, it's just flickering. I'll just go and try to launch browser. Right? It's common because space I have not given. I just go here. Ensure that IP address is correct, okay? And the minute all those services are installed or configured, you will get a login screen here, and that login screen will be of your OpenStack cloud, right? It's done here. It takes some time. Just go here. Just go here. So you will get something similar to this, which I have already kept on my screen, which I was aware that this may be the case. You will get OpenStack dashboard, and on that dashboard you can go and work. I'll show you it in lab guide as well, which we give to people.